caught in the crossfire.
Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to discuss with you why you should ignore certain particular type of investing advice that millionaires give you. And I get it, they're millionaires and you think, okay, well, if they're millionaires, whatever that they're telling me I should do with my money, well, then I should do that. But I'm going to share in this video why in certain particular cases, when they tell you certain things to do with your investments, that I don't believe that you should follow this advice. And I'll also be giving you basically what I think would be a better option to do rather than following what these millionaires are telling you to do when it comes to your investing. So before we go ahead and dive right into this video, if you could just do me one huge favor, find that red subscribe button on the bottom right side of your screen, give that red subscribe button a quick tap for me, and then find that little bell icon and select all with that bell icon. And then if you could just give this video a thumbs up, find that thumbs up button right beneath this video, tap that thumbs up button. It really helps out my channel a lot. It helps this video get out to a wider and wider audience so more people can find my videos and enjoy them just like you are. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. And with that being said, let's find out the advice from these millionaires that you should be ignoring. All right, you guys. So you got to be asking yourself, like, what type of investing advice would I be telling you to ignore when millionaires give it to you? And you got to be saying to yourself, why would I say such a bold claim like that? Like, why would you ignore them when they're obviously successful, you know, and these people are millionaires and I'm not a millionaire? But I still believe, and I still hold true to that statement, that I believe when millionaire investors give you this particular type of investing advice, I think you should ignore it. I personally ignore it. And like I said, I believe that you should ignore it too, because I think there's a better way. And I think after you watch this video and you hear exactly what I'm talking about and you hear me explain this out, I think you'll agree with me as well. So what particular type of investing advice am I suggesting that you ignore from these millionaires is when millionaires give you the advice that you should be diversifying. Because there's a lot of times where you could find either here on YouTube where some millionaire is getting, you know, getting interviewed on a podcast, or, you know, or they're featured on someone else's YouTube channel or on some cable television show or wherever it is that you might find them. But you're going to find that millionaire giving, you know, young investors or just investors in general, the advice. You know, they're going to get asked, hey, if somebody wanted, you know, what's the best advice that you could give to some young person or some investor who wants to get rich and build wealth for themselves? What do you believe is the best thing that they can do for themselves, you know, to mimic those results, to get rich and build wealth? And that investor is going to say, I think the best thing that you know, investor could do if they want to get rich and build wealth for themselves is that they invest. But when they invest, that they should diversify their investments amongst a bunch of different type of investments. Never invest too heavily in any one asset or asset class. So then that way they can minimize their downside. And then hopefully, you know, that will put them in a situation where, you know, they have very low risk of losing their money, and that over a long period of time that young investor or that investor in general will become successful financially. So it's like these investors are basically telling you, look, don't invest heavy in any one investment or any one area, you know, of your investment portfolio, whether that be stocks, real estate, business, whatever. Don't go hard in any one particular area, but instead invest a little bit in a bunch of different areas, build up a wide investing portfolio. So then that way, you know, your losers won't pull down your wealth very much. Your winners will, you know, obviously you're going to benefit from your winners. But basically that's the advice that, you know, I'm suggesting that you ignore from these millionaires, is that they're telling you basically spread out your investments amongst a bunch of investments, spread out yourself, you know, as wide as possible. So that way you're guaranteed to have some winners. And obviously in the process, you're going to have some losers, but you'll hopefully and ideally have more winners than losers, right? That's the advice that these millionaires are going to give you. And I'm suggesting to you that when you hear millionaires give you this investing advice, that you should ignore it. And I'm about to tell you exactly why. All right, you guys. So now let's talk about why I believe that you should ignore millionaires when they give you this investing advice about diversifying your investment portfolio. Now, this is why right here that I disagree and I ignore the millionaires when they talk about diversifying your investing portfolio. Because when I look at these millionaires, whenever they've given out this particular advice, and you could basically look at any millionaire that tells you, hey, you should diversify if you want to get rich and build your wealth. Well, I get it. They're rich. I'm not, you know, they're the millionaire. I'm not. But when I hear these investors say this, the light goes off in my head and I tell myself, like, okay, they're telling me diversify my portfolio, my investing portfolio if I want to get rich and I want to build wealth. But then I look and I say, okay, how did that millionaire get rich and build wealth for themselves? And then I look and I say like, oh, hey, when that person was on the path, from zero and that they wanted to get rich and build wealth, they didn't diversify their investing portfolio. They got rich in just real estate, or they got rich in just the stock market, or they got rich in just owning a business or being a very high level, employee within a business. And then they went on to become, an investor in real estate and then investing in the stock market. Or, maybe they just invest in real estate or just in the stock market. But I realized like, hey, these people didn't get rich doing what they're telling me to do. Like they didn't say, oh, okay, let me buy one rental property. Let me put some money in cryptocurrency. Let me put, a little money in an index fund. Let me, put a little money in this business. Like that's not how they got rich and wealthy. Like they didn't just spread their time out and their investments out amongst a bunch of different type of investments. And then, one day, down in the future, at some point, 20, 30 years later, they just woke up wealthy. Like that's not what happened. Most of these investors did not get multi-millions rich or become a billionaire because they just invested in something like an index fund. So I don't, like I said, when I hear these millionaires giving this investing advice about diversifying, I know why they're giving this advice, because they're giving a very safe, conservative answer for the viewers that are watching them to say, hey, what's a simple path that I could tell these people, to tell these investors that they could follow that ultimately will lead them, to getting rich and building wealth. But it's going to never be the type of wealth that you see that investor has, because that's not how that investor got rich and built their wealth. They had to be very highly concentrated on a particular few investments, if not just one type of investment. And then when that particular investment or the couple investments took off, then their wealth just, propelled to like new heights. And then now they're, exactly how you know them to be, millionaires and billionaires. So it's not about diversification that leads to wealth. It's about being very heavily invested, in whatever areas or investment asset classes that you know and understand very well, investing very heavily in them. And then when they do well for you, then your wealth is going to go up in proportion to how much you are invested into them. So this is why I say you should ignore the investing advice when millionaires tell you that you should diversify your investing portfolio, and instead you should not be listening to what they're telling you to do to get rich and build wealth, but you should be doing what they did to get rich and build wealth for themselves. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, click this video here on the screen, and YouTube is going to show you the very best video that they believe that you'll enjoy from my channel. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.